short vowel of the final consonant of a verb in the present tense is absent, we conclude that it is in the Jussive and look for the facts behind this mood by analyzing the components of the sentence. In the previous lesson, I talked about some words and particles which put the imperfect verbs that follow in the Jussive mood, like in, if, meta, whenever, من, whoever, أينما, wherever. And guess what? There is still room for expanding knowledge of other grammatical context of this mood. When there is a request within a sentence using the imperative form to give an order, a warning or advice, and the outcome of this action is a verb in the present tense, expect it to be in the Jussive. How? Let's find out with the example of this sentence. تابع دراسة اللغة العربية تتعلم. تابع دراسة اللغة العربية تتعلم. There are two verbal sentences. Verbal sentences are the sentences that start with a verb. The first one starts with the verb تابع, form 3, meaning to follow, to keep on doing something, to resume after an interruption. دراسة اللغة العربية. دراسة اللغة العربية is in the construct state, which happens when two or more consecutive nouns are contextually related and form an idea of possession. It is also called the genitive construction, إضافة, since the noun or nouns that follow the first one are in the genitive case, meaning that they are marked with a kasra. So دراسة is the object of the verb تابع, تابع, in the imperative form, second person, masculine, singular, أنت. And since أنت is its subject, so دراسة is the object with the sign of فتحة. The objects bear the sign of فتحة. اللغة العربية. اللغة is the noun that follows the first one within this genitive construction. So it has to be in the genitive with the sign of kasra. العربية is not noun number 3 within this إضافة construction. It is a modifying adjective that matches اللغة in number, gender, grammatical case and definiteness. So if إضافة construction is definite, only the last noun will carry the definite article L, not two of them. So within this genitive construction, normally we have just two parts, two nouns back to back, and this one just a modifying adjective. So دراسة is the verbal noun of درس. درس, to study. دراسة, studying. Studying what? Arabic. So studying is connected to this language, the Arabic language. Arabic language, اللغة, language. So keep keep studying Arabic. So here, my advice to you is keep studying Arabic. The address is given a piece of advice to follow, and within the suggestion, a reward is to be expected, which is the second verb. تتعلم, form 5, تعلم, to learn. تتعلم in the Jussive with the sign of sukun. So, تتعلم. So, keep studying Arabic and you will learn. First part of the sentence using the imperative of تابع, and second part using the verb تعلم in the Jussive. This is another way that implicates the use of the Jussive within the consequence of the suggested condition once fulfilled. Do this and look for its consequence, or watch for such and such happening. So, do this and you will see. It sounds like a threat. مارس الرياضة, and the second verbal sentence, تشارك في الأولمبياد. مارس, from the verb مارس, مارس, to practice sports, form 3, in the imperative. So مارس الرياضة, so I am addressing second person, masculine singular, أنت. Practice sports, and what's gonna happen? تشارك في الأولمبياد. تشارك, and you will participate in the Olympics. تشارك, the verb شارك, to take part in or to participate in. In the Jussive, second person, singular, masculine, with the sign of sukun, absence of short vowels. تشارك في الأولمبياد. شارك is construed with the preposition في. It's like a phrasal verb. شارك في. تشارك في الأولمبياد, in the Olympics. What about the second person, feminine, singular? مارسي. مارسي الرياضة. تشاركي في الأولمبياد. You know how do we form the imperative of form 3? It looks exactly like the Jussive, the imperfect Jussive with no prefixes. That's the only difference. And we have just 5 conjugations within the imperative since we just addressed the second person. So here, تشاركي مارسي. تمارسي, instead of تمارسي, you get rid of the prefix and you have the imperative form. مارسي أنت. Practice sports and you will participate in the Olympics. مارسة, second person, dual, masculine and feminine. الرياضة, تشارك. مارسة, تشارك. And we have the same middle short vowel, الكسرة. So مارسة is مارسة, form 3 has all fathas within the its 3 radicals. So we have the middle short vowel turning from a fatha to a kasra, and we keep it the same within the imperative. مارسة الرياضة, sports. And riyada is the object of the verb with the sign of fatha, don't forget. تشارك في الأولمبياد. مارسوا, second person plural. مارسوا الرياضة. تشاركوا, same form without prefix. And مارسنا, second person, feminine plural. تشاركنا. مارسنا الرياضة. تشاركنا في الأولمبياد. دخنا, our first verbal sentence in the imperative, addressing second person dual. دخنا with the dual alif as a suffix. دخنا, smoke, the verb smoke. تمرضا, تمرضا, the verb marida, to get sick, in the Jussive, the imperfect, Jussive second person, dual. تمرضا. So smoke, go ahead, help yourself, smoke, and you will get sick. لا تدخنوا, لا تدخنوا, this is a negative command. Actually, when there is a negative command within la and plus the Jussive, plus the imperfects, that imperfect will be in the Jussive. لا تدخنوا. So la, don't smoke. That's my advice. This is a negative command. La plus the Jussive. Addressing second person plural. لا تدخنوا. لا تدخنوا. تسلموا. 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 And you will be safe and sound. تسلموا. سلمة. To be safe and sound. To be healthy in the Jussive. Alright? So if you want to give a negative command, you will use la plus the Jussive, and the consequence will be also in the Jussive. Arabic grammar is relating to the forms of words. Know that morphological structure is more important than syntactic structure. The reason why you have to pay attention to the inflected forms of words which communicate their grammatical states. This is one of the grammatical structures that represents conditional sentences in a different way for commanding and forbidding. Keep in mind that if the consequence, the result of the requested action is unwanted or unpleasant, the imperfect verb has to be in the present indicative, the default mood. For example, so I'm talking about the second verbal sentence. لا تقترب من الأسد. This is our first verbal sentence. لا تقترب. This is a warning. لا تقترب. لا plus the Jussive. Plus the Jussive. So don't go near. لا تقترب من. من. So اقترب من. لا تقترب من الأسد. Don't go near the lion. And our second verbal sentence, يأكلك. يأكلك. Watch for the last radical of the verb أكل in the present. يأكل. So it has a dhamma. Since ka is an object pronoun, you are not gonna check all the way toward the end of the word, since it can be a compound one, to find out about the mood. That ka is an object pronoun, so eradicate that one. So you look for the last radical of the conjugated verb, which is lam. يأكلك. I didn't say يأكل. Alright, so it is in the indicative because definitely you don't want to be eaten by a lion. So this is an unpleasant action. So it doesn't it stays in the default mood, the indicative, the imperfect indicative. Or لا تلمس النار, لا تلمس النار, don't touch the fire. النار لا تلمس النار. تحرقك, 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 it will burn you. تحرق, there is a Dhamma within the last radical of the verb, the qaf. تحرقك, and ka is the object pronoun, you. So if you have such a situation, you will have to forget about this rule and keep the second verb in the indicative, in the imperfect indicative or the present indicative. Okay? And that's it for today. إلى اللقاء.